High above the battlefield, through clouds of mist and blood, they descend, figures clad in shining armor, their eyes glowing like the northern lights. The Vikings called them Valkyrier, the Valkyries, choosers of the slain. In Norse mythology, the Valkyries were more than just fierce female warriors. They were divine agents of fate, deciding who would live and who would die, and carrying the souls of the bravest to Odin's majestic hall, Valhalla. But who were they really? Were they merciful saints, fearsome reapers, or something far more complex? In this episode, we'll dive deep into the legends, symbolism, and hidden meanings behind the Valkyries, beings who stood at the crossroads of life, death, and destiny. To understand the Valkyries, we have to step back to the age when stories weren't written but sung around fires. The earliest mentions of Valkyries come from Eddic poetry, Norse sagas, and the old skaldic verses of Iceland. The word Valkyria means chooser of the slain, and that's exactly what they did. In myth, these divine women rode over battlefields, selecting warriors worthy to join the gods in Valhalla. But what made a warrior worthy? It wasn't just about victory or strength. The key was courage, the unflinching heart in the face of impossible odds. The Vikings believed that how you faced death said more than how you lived. In these poems, Odin, the Allfather, didn't want cowards in his hall. He wanted those whose hearts blazed brighter than their swords. The Valkyries, his loyal maidens, were the ones to choose them. They were both death and destiny woven into one being. Now here's where it gets fascinating. The Valkyries weren't just grim reapers of the battlefield. They were also symbols of divine order, cosmic balance between life and death, chaos and honor. Think of them like conductors in the grand symphony of fate. In some tales, they are purely spiritual, the hands of Odin guiding humanity's destiny. In others, they interact directly with mortals, falling in love, changing fates, or even rebelling against the gods. They could gift victory to one side, doom to the other. Sometimes they appeared as swans, their wings glimmering like silver. If a human man stole their feather cloak, the Valkyrie would be bound to him, a tragic echo of lost freedom, a recurring theme in Norse lore, the price of control over fate. This duality, divine yet bound, powerful yet tragic, made the Valkyries far more than background figures. They represented the tension between free will and destiny itself. Now let's follow the Valkyries' path, beyond the battlefield, to Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain. Picture vast golden gates, a roof made of shining shields, and endless feasts lit by the glow of swords. This was no heaven of peace. Valhalla was a warrior's paradise, where the chosen fought all day and feasted all night, preparing for Ragnarok, the final battle. And it was the Valkyries who brought them there. They rode spectral horses that galloped through the sky, bringing souls through storms and lightning. They poured mead for the fallen and stood beside Odin, ready for the day when all gods and men would make their last stand. You could say that to the Vikings, the Valkyries were the bridge between mortality and immortality, between chaos and order. Death wasn't the end, it was an honor. Their task symbolized a core value of Norse belief, life's impermanence, and the nobility of courage. Of course, among the dozens of Valkyries mentioned in old poems, some stand out, figures who became legends themselves. Brynhildr, the most famous of all, was a Valkyrie who defied Odin. She chose the wrong warrior to win a battle, disobeying divine command. As punishment, Odin cast her into a deep sleep, surrounded by a ring of fire. Only a hero courageous enough to cross the flames could awaken her. That hero was Sigurd, the Dragon Slayer. Their love story, full of betrayal and tragedy, would later inspire the German Nibelungenlied and even Richard Wagner's operas centuries later. Then there's Sigrun, whose name means victory rune. She fell in love with the mortal hero Helgi, blessed him in battle, and then wept bitter tears when he was slain. In another tale, she's said to kiss her lover's corpse before vanishing into the mist. And Skuld, one of the three Norns, sisters who weave the threads of fate, is sometimes said to be a Valkyrie herself, reminding us that death, choice, and destiny are inseparable forces in Norse myth. These stories weren't merely entertainment. They were moral mirrors, reminding listeners that love, loyalty, and bravery are often painted on a canvas of suffering. The Valkyries embody paradox. They're angels of death who celebrate life. For the Vikings, life was a constant dialogue with death. Every voyage, every raid, every winter storm was a gamble with fate. The Valkyries were there to remind them that courage had value beyond victory. Their imagery survived long after the Viking Age. In old sagas, they evolved into romantic heroines and spirit guides. In modern times, they've been reimagined as fierce warriors, operatic muses, and even comic book icons. But peel back the layers, and the original symbolism remains: choice, destiny, and honor. The Valkyries were divine reflections of human bravery. They whisper that every act of courage, no matter how small, is a step toward immortality. So next time you see an image of a winged warrior or hear the name Valkyrie, remember, they are more than myth. They are an idea that life and death aren't opposites, they're partners in the dance of existence. That fate is not something to fear, but to face with open eyes and a steady heart. Because the Valkyries don't just choose the slain, they choose those who meet destiny unflinching. Perhaps, in some metaphorical way, they still ride above us today. In every act of courage, in every fearless decision, in every person who dares to live honorably. As the storm clears and the echo of battle fades, we're left with a timeless truth. To live with courage is to be seen by the Valkyries.